Inside.
Hello all. This is a little bit shorter one because I really had my hands full near the end. It's a 4-star car for the Wood Brothers. I don't agree. But which means I was down on power, so I had to really rely on the draft. Problem is, this is the last race because I just had it at this point. I was up in like 3rd or 4th before the caution came out, and I really didn't want to pit. I was going to go to the end and get a top 5 and maybe a couple spots more because I had a good enough car for it, but my right front tire wear with the 8-degree camber was just like down to 40%, and I was literally, before the caution came out, I slid 2 lanes up out of 2, and only because it was single file did I not hit anybody. So I'm like, on a restart, I'm going to be toast. I'll probably end up wrecking and finish 30 something. So I had to make the tough call and pit. So here I am on fresh tires, and one thing, if you've watched my videos, you probably noticed that I come up through the field pretty quick, but when you get to Cup, even on fresher tires and a better setup, it takes longer to get up through the field. So at this point, I'm like 20. My goal is 20th place, and then, if I get to 20th, let's see what I can do, because I knew I was screwed as soon as I pitted. I had been in this position before, and I tried to stay up front. Well, that's why my tires were so worn down. I should have pitted the last time around.
Stay on the bottom.
When I had more time and made my way back in the top 10. So,
Top 3, use it
because
if
from there to the end, I could have done it on old tires, but because they wouldn't have been as old or worn. Anyway, so I'm just fighting for my life here and not getting any breaks. At one point, Daniel Hemrick gets in front of me. Just, it's within 10 laps to go, and that's how the AI works, and it's supposed to work that way. That's why I try to get up beforehand, and I was really Hail Marying it, knowing that, I probably wasn't going to get the finish that I really wanted. So here's Daniel Hemrick. Doesn't do anything wrong. Just, you can't go through him. Down the backstretch here. So also, I hooked up. This is where the drafting enable went against me, because if I didn't have him, I would have had a better run into turn 3, and I might have been a couple of positions closer to the front. Because 4 laps, everything, every spot counts. So I'm just like not taking any chances. Yeah, sorry, Danny. Yeah, I'm coming through.
All right, let's go. White flag.
Same thing here. I could have waited a second more. I could have pumped the brakes, but I just like, let's go. Because this is not the car I had. I had a top 3 car all day, and I'm pissed. But it was my decision. Parker Kligerman. Yep, there we go.
Stay low.
Yep. Did nothing wrong, just in the way. He killed my momentum when I got into him. And not his fault. I thought he was going to go over to the middle more, and he didn't. 10 laps to go. He was half blocking. That's racing.
Left everything on the track for a top 10. Nice job.
So, top 10. Great finish. Daytona in July in a Cup car. I think I won Talladega with this crappy setup. That was cool. And I know I didn't race too many full races because with a 4-star car, you're down on power, and it shows. It shouldn't. All the Fords use Roush Yates engines. You're all using the same engine. So the same engine that's in a Penske, is in a Roush. It's the aero handling and drivers that make up the difference. I'm not saying I'm a better driver, but at Daytona or Talladega, I should have the engine. See, Haas has Roush CH engines, and it's like I'm there. I'm surrounded by Ford engines, and I got the least power. And the Wood Brothers are affiliated with Penske, so if they're running Roush Yates, yeah, that was a bad moment. That was when I realized I was going to have a huge right front tire issue. It wasn't so bad in Xfinity, but it was definitely a game changer in the Cup. And I tried getting it loose, but it turns out it was just the wrong camber settings, too much camber. I tested it, and I went down to 5, and 5 is fine. 5 doesn't wear excessively at all, and gives you that edge that you want from camber on a high bank super speedway like this. And I run 5 and 5 up front. I did test 8 on the left side, because it was only the right side I was having a problem. But with my setup, the faster I get this setup, seems to the more squirrely it is in traffic, like a streamer, you know, flying out a car window. Doesn't feel very, oh, that was beautiful. It doesn't feel as stable as it should be. And I'm working on that, but for out speed and out front, the setup prefers it. Or running up, like when you get up into like the top 10, it calms down a lot. I wonder if it's the 3 wide and 2 wide that upsets it, but when you're up front, they're spaced out a little bit, you know, a little bit more, and it's not that bad. Because I'm 3 versions of this setup past this at this point. 1 to fix for the camber, and then 2 faster versions of this. Yeah, it's a long race, 160 laps. I was doing okay because I ran Talladega and 188 laps. I did not run Daytona because the setup, as I mentioned, was so horrible translating from Xfinity, because I was using the 8 camera. I didn't realize that was just one simple setting change, and I could have had a car, you know, like this. But so I said screw it, and I simmed it. I ran Atlanta. I finished I think I finished 10th at Atlanta, or close to it. Because I get the best setup on the mile and a half at Atlanta. My best setup is for Atlanta in the mile and a halves. And I got a good setup at Bristol. So I ran in this season with a 4-star car. I ran the super speedway races, both Bristol races, both Talladega, and this race here at Daytona. I go to all of them. I practice. And I think I ran Watkins Glen, but I didn't record it because I forgot. I had my hands full. But I did finish 13th. And I started in the back. I didn't even qualify. I just started in the back because I figured down on power on a road course. But I got to, you know, get into road courses in Heat 4, particularly Sonoma and Watkins Glen. And I'm most familiar with Watkins Glen. I like Watkins Glen. It's the kind of road course it's fast, you know, and I like it. I have a decent setup for me, but I'm having a hard time translating it to NASCAR Heat 4. But I'll figure it out. I almost think that there's a glitch there that I'm like, okay. This stuff I've done in the past is like it's acting exactly the opposite, and you get this a lot. I get this a lot. I had the same kind of thing in 13, 14, and 15, etc. Anyway, so good day. Not the day I really wanted. You know, well, here's some video.
Hey, nice job out there today. You've been putting in the work.
I don't have a problem with Logano.
Keep it rolling.
Wish you didn't get into Kenseth. What was that, Kansas? Yeah, that was. See, if I'm in that situation that Logano was in, fighting for a playoff spot, that's the moment you don't do that. It's the moment you take the extra, you know, and you cut it down, you know, kind of thing. But who knows? Maybe they just got together. Maybe Logano wasn't, you know, fill in the blank. I don't know. I didn't have that much of a problem with it, but I love Kenseth's reprisal there. So, short video. Here's my settings. Thank you for watching. A like and a subscribe would be cool, but, you know, just a like, you know, anything. Keep rolling, y'all.